Godrej Properties also reported its quarterly performance. Mr. Pirojsha Godrej, the MD and CEO of the company, is joining in. Sir, thanks very much for taking out the time. Let's start off with the first question with regards to the sales this quarter, which have been moderate. Weaker market conditions and lack of new launches. Would you attribute it to that?
Sure. I think the second quarter has been a bit of a mixed bag. We've seen good financial performance growth. I think if you look at our revenues, they've grown by about 37%. EBITDA and profit before tax have both grown north of 30%. Our net profit growth has been lower. It's about 5% because our minority interest in the current quarter has increased. Sales, I think, definitely across most projects have been a bit sluggish given the macroeconomic environment. But I think we feel, given the launch calendar we have planned and the number of new projects that we're looking at launching in the current financial year and in the first half of next financial year, we do see good visibility on being able to drive our bookings growth. So all in all, I think it's been quite a good quarter. We also had several other achievements during the quarter. We raised about 700 crore through a rights issue, which was oversubscribed and I think was the largest rights issue in India year to date. We continue to see success on the business development side. We've recently added new projects in Gurgaon. We've increased the scale of our Panvel township. We've added a new project here in Mumbai on LBS Mark. So I think all in all, we've seen good momentum for the business. But there's no question that I think for us and for the sector, sales volumes in the current environment are a little bit challenging.
Let's talk about the demand environment, particularly in Bombay as well as Ahmedabad.
Yes, those are all on track. We've recently launched a new phase in our project in Bangalore. We're looking at new phase launches in both Pune and Nagpur. We've had new phase launches so far this year in NCR, in Ahmedabad, in Kolkata. So I think, on the launch side, we feel pretty good about the launch portfolio over the next 12 months. I think, of course, some of the new launches or all of the new launches are contingent on final regulatory approvals being received, but we're working very hard to ensure those are received on time and that we are able to go ahead with these launches.
So are the new launches, new phase launches in Pune, Nagpur, Mumbai, Ahmedabad on track?
I think we're very confident that the launches we have planned will see good absorption, and we're not certainly looking at holding back any launches due to market conditions. I think we feel very confident of our ability to sell even given the subdued market conditions. That said, of course, in these market conditions and frankly in all market conditions, we do look at appropriate phasing of projects. So it's important that we look at launching an amount of inventory which we are confident of seeing good sales in, and not overestimating the amount we need to launch and then end up constructing a much larger area than we're able to sell. We can always launch projects in phases and quickly launch an additional phase if the response is good. So I think that is our intent with all our projects, and certainly there is no project currently anywhere in the country which we are holding back a launch because of market conditions.
Right. Mr. Godrej, just one last word, and I just want your opinion on what the RBI governor has done where he's gone and increased the repo rates by another 25 basis points. What sort of an impact do you think this is going to have?
Well, there's no doubt that interest rates are an important factor for the sector and do impact consumer demand. That said, I think in yesterday's policy, as in the previous policy, while raising the repo rate by 25 basis points, the RBI governor also reduced the MSF rate by an equivalent amount. So it's not clear that the cost of funding to banks, and therefore hopefully the cost of funding that is passed on to customers or companies, necessarily needs to change as a result. I think in terms of future interest rates, I hope that the tightening cycle is either over or close to over. And I do expect that certainly by this time next year we will be in a period where interest rates are moving in the other direction. And I think that will be a big boost for the sector. But my sense is that 2014 will be a much better year for the sector than 2013. And I think the things that will drive that are, one, I think the election as an event being behind us and a new government coming in and hopefully pushing the reform agenda. I think that can have a huge impact on sentiment. I think there fundamentally is a large amount of pent-up demand for real estate in the system. There are a lot of people who have been waiting on the sidelines to see how the sector moves, how prices move, and to be confident on the stability of the rupee and economic growth before making what is a very big purchase decision. But I'm quite confident that as that stability and growth improves, next year will be a much better year.
Right, Mr. Godrej, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate you taking out the time. That's Godrej Properties there at 369. Let's quickly look at Sensex futures.